What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Trigger Happy Tactical Podcast. You know the drill. It's time to lock, load, and listen. All right. So today we're asking the ultimate gun guy thought experiment. If shit really hit the fan and I had to grab only 2 guns and boogie, which 2 am I going to bring with me? And look, I'm no tinfoil hat doomsday prepper type guy, but let's be real. Things can go sideways and fast. Let's say maybe the U.S. gets hacked and the power grid's now toast. Maybe it's an invasion from a foreign nation, or a civil war breaks out, or quite possibly the zombie apocalypse, which I'm kind of keeping my fingers crossed for because that'd be kind of fun. Or aliens simply dropping in from space for a little, like backdoor probing. Whatever the scenario, I can only take 2 guns. Which 2 guns make the cut? Let's break this down. Now, I got to be honest, this was no easy task to simply pick 2. That's like picking your 2 favorite kids. If some of your kids were ugly, heavy, and ate rare ammo. I went back and forth between 3 or 4 of them, but I finally locked it in. But let's rummage through my brain a little bit on my mental checklist that I used for my criteria when I was attempting to select the 2 best guns that I personally own. Well, let's talk about the first thing. It's got to be reliable. This gun has to go bang every time I ask it to go bang. There's no excuses to that one. Every time I pull the trigger, it's got to shoot. And it can't matter if it's dirty or it's wet or I haven't shown it any love in months. It better run. It's got to be durable. Similar to reliable, but these 2 things are not the same. Reliability and durability, not the same thing. See, I have guns that are very reliable, but are definitely not durable. This gun, or these guns rather, need to take a beating. They've got to be able to bounce off of rocks or concrete or being tossed into a truck or even being used as like an improvised baseball bat for someone's face. It's got to be able to withstand the abuse that this thing can be put through. It's also got to be really accurate. If I can't hit a target, then really it's just a noisy stick, virtually useless to me. Lightweight, because trust me, nothing gets lighter the longer you carry it. I mean, just ask anybody who's had to carry a rifle or even just a pistol or large frame pistol or anything like that all day long. It doesn't get lighter or less cumbersome as you carry it. And being lighter also translates to better maneuverability and faster deployment. Parts and ammo have to have high availability. If I can't scavenge this off an enemy combatant or find it in a Walmart or someone's home or a random abandoned minivan, it's a hard pass. There can't be any Gucci snowflake rounds here. It's also got to be concealable to a certain extent. Can I tuck it in a bag, stash it under a jacket or in a backpack? Or can I sneak it somewhere without getting weird looks and giving away the fact that I've got firearms on me? It's also got to be fast shooting, and not just fast shooting, but fast shooting with low recoil. This thing's got to be able to throw lead pretty quickly. And my wife has to be able to run it just as well because, we're going to roll 2 deep, Bonnie and Clyde style. Has to have versatility. It has to be able to shoot well at close range, mid-range, and a little reach out and touch someone type of range. Now, that doesn't all have to be incorporated into one type of firearm or one of those firearms, but I've got to have 2 guns that can meet these requirements to some extent. And capacity. It's got to have good round counter, good round capacity, because let's be real, 5-round mags are basically just adult Nerf toys at this time. Now, not to knock Nerf toys, because even adults can rock the Nerf toys every once in a while. But if a shit hits the fan scenario is going on, I've got to be able to have capacity to enter a pseudo firefight, let's say, and not have to swap round or mags every 5 rounds. All right, so that's the checklist that's in place. That's what was going through my head when I had to narrow it down to only 2 firearms. Now let's jump into my picks. What guns did I actually choose? First up is going to be my Zev OZ9 Elite pistol. Why? Well, it's chambered in 9mm, which is literally the most common pistol round in America. It's 9mm. I mean, there's so much to say about the 9mm caliber, and I don't need to go full into depth about how awesome 9mm is. But 9mm is a great round for self-defense. I know I probably just pissed in your Cheerios 45 caliber people, but 9mm is probably one of the most capable rounds for self-defense. And the good part about 9mm is it's easy to shoot, and it's easy to shoot fast. Really, in a decent gun chambered in 9mm, especially this gun chambered in 9mm, it barely has any recoil. And the recoil it does have is manageable. And it takes Glock mags, which Glock mags are literally everywhere. Like everywhere. Where aren't there Glock mags? Go ahead, raise your hand if you don't own a Glock mag or like 30 of them. And the gun itself, the reason why I chose it also is that it has Glock parts to it. So spares are plentiful. I can literally find them anywhere. You could probably find them buried in your neighbor's junk drawer if you absolutely had to. So that availability of parts that I can scavenge from just about everywhere becomes vital and necessary. The firearm itself is pretty lightweight and it's very reliable. This gun has never once given me a hiccup. Even when I forgot to clean it, or even when I forgot to oil it, or I've got thousands of rounds through it during a training day and it got a little dirty or it got a little wet, the gun never hiccuped. I never had a problem with this firearm. Is it the greatest shooting pistol that I've got? No, it's not. It's not the fastest pistol that I've got. I mean, I've got race guns. Those are obviously going to be a little bit faster, but it's reliable and it's easy to shoot and it's accurate as hell. So it kind of ticked all the boxes of the criteria that we were talking about. Now, I'm not sure that this is going to punch through body armor, right? Because let's face it, 9mm is not a good body armor round, but I'm not as worried about that. And no, this is not a good hunting pistol because 1, 9mm, 2, barrel size, etc., etc. But it can work in a pinch, and unless you're counting on hunting squirrels John Wick style, then, well, you're going to be just fine. But in a pinch, could I use it to do some hunting? Sure, I could, in a pinch, shoot some smaller game with it. Maybe if we're talking about something that's getting a little bit closer to us, maybe things like coyote, fox, stuff like that, that is still edible, I guess. Yeah, absolutely. I could hunt with it. And let's be real. When the world's ending, I'm not worried about hunting laws or filling out a deer tag for it. Don't judge me. But if shit hits the fan, well, fuck those rules, right? I mean, that's really the way we got to look at it. Now, before I go into picking what my second weapon system is going to be, let's pay some respect to the ones that almost made the list. Let's have a moment of silence for the one that just didn't make it. Okay, anyways, on with the show. Let's talk about what they are. So these were the ones that I was really having a hard time not including. And had I had a list where 3 guns I brought with me or 4 guns I brought with me, 1 or 2 of these are going to definitely make it on that list, but I didn't. I really restricted myself down to only 2 firearms in this scenario. So what are my honorable mentions here? First one, and these are in no particular order. The first one is going to be a Remington 870 pump action in 12 gauge. Why? Well, it's solid, dude. It's a pump action. They're virtually impossible to not have them work. They're extremely versatile guns. They really are. And being a 12 gauge, we have tons of different types of ammo. I mean, you've got anything from, BB rounds to double-aught, triple-aught buck to gnarly big-ass slugs to personal protection rounds to weird things like Dragon's Breath or rubber ducky rounds. If you guys haven't seen those yet, there is actually somebody out there that manufactures 12 gauge rounds with little tiny rubber duckies in it. Can you imagine that in a self-defense incident, you getting pelted with a bunch of little rubber duckies? Yeah, let that run wild in your imagination. But why isn't it included? Well, recoil 1. This thing kicks harder than a mule on Red Bull, and I don't care how big of a badass you think you are. A 12 gauge shotgun, it kicks. It does, and not to a point where it's unmanageable, but trying to get follow-up shots rapidly on a 12 gauge or to roll multiple shots on a target that's moving or doing the dip, dodge, duck, dive behind barricade cover and concealment is not very easy with a 12 gauge shotgun. It's just not. And talk about its capacity. With a Remington 870, I mean, what do we get? 5+1, 7+1. If we extend choke tubes or if we extend mag tubes and stuff like that, maybe we can stretch it out a little bit more. But I don't want to engage in that fight with a 5+1 gun. So capacity is problematic, right? So to me, in a shit hits the fan scenario, this is more of a boomstick than a battle rifle, right? This is more the sledgehammer as opposed to the scalpel. What's next on that honorable mentions list? Rem 700 Action 308. Now, I'm not getting specific on the brand of Remington 700 Action bolt guns in 308 because there are a billion of them. That's one of the reasons why they made it on the honorable mentions list, and one of the reasons why they were so hard to not make it on the list, because a Remington 700 Action 308 bolt gun is everywhere. And it's reliable, right? It's not relying on a semi-automatic action because it's a bolt gun. So reliability is super high. These guns are great for hunting or long-range type sniper engagements, but bolt action reloads in a gunfight? No. And I'm not auditioning for Saving Private Ryan here. I'm in a modern-day combat situation potentially if shit were to hit the fan, right? So the bolt action became a pass for me. Again, this is another hard one to scratch off the list. And the last one that I really bounced back and forth on a lot was my AR-10 or my SCAR-17 in 308. Both of these guns I love. In fact, my SCAR-17 is actually one of my favorite guns that I own. It really is. And I love my AR-10s too, because they've got the power, they've got the range. If they're well manufactured or well built, they've got the accuracy. They got it. But they are also kind of big, bulky, and heavy. And parts for a SCAR or an AR-10 aren't very easy to scavenge. Not everybody has a SCAR-17, and not everybody has an AR-10. And AR-10s especially can be finicky little divas. And in a shit hits the fan scenario, the last thing in the fucking world I want is a gun with an attitude problem, right? These are all good guns. They just didn't make it to my final two because, to me, they didn't hold as many pros as the two guns that I chose. So without further ado, what's the second weapon system that I chose in my two gun selection? My second pick was my saltwater, or what is now Outer Wild Arms, AR-15 pistol / SBR with a folding stock. Why? Because it's an AR-15, case closed. There we go. Do I need to mention anything else? But seriously, why an AR-15? Why particularly this one too? Well, one of the things that makes an AR-15 so good is that I can simply swap uppers to fit the mission, right? And I can do it with the push of two simple pins. See, I can simply in a backpack carry an additional fully ready to boogie upper, right? Fully kitted so that I can literally just push two pins out on my lower, swap the upper, drop it in, push 2 pins, and in a mere seconds, I can have a long barrel upper for long distance shoots and engagement. I can have a short barrel upper like I have it currently outfitted with for CQB or urban combat to help with room clearing and things of that nature. But I can also do a full caliber swap. See, there are quite a few calibers that I can run by a simple change out of an upper. If all of a sudden 300 blackout became available and there was a ton of 300 blackout laying around anywhere, could I simply just steal a 300 blackout upper from another one and throw it on there to get 300 blackout? Yeah, I could. So that upper swap versatility is huge. AR-15s, most of the time, right, in their most common format, are chambered in 5.56 and 2.23. This ammo is basically the dollar menu of the gun world. It's cheap, it's everywhere, and it's easy to find. 2.23 is a spectacular round. Is it the best at everything? It's not, but it's really, really, really good at a lot of stuff. It's great for a plethora of things. The AR is lightweight, it's accurate, and so it's got very low recoil to it. You can practically mag dump this and have a big grin on your face, and if you know how to control it, you can be really accurate. You can throw a ton of rounds down and still be able to be really accurate with it. Parts and mags, forget about it. You could trip over these things anywhere. You can literally find AR parts and magazines anywhere you go, which means if I needed to scavenge hunt for them, I can, and I can probably find those parts everywhere. I mean, there's a reason why this is the most popular, one of the most popular firearms in the United States. And the parts to them are universal for the most part. So parts from any one AR-15 will most likely fit my AR-15. Unlike pistols or other types of guns where the parts are very specific to that, not only manufacturer, but to that model, AR-15s have this universalness to them. Universalness? I don't know if that's a word, but I think you understand what I'm saying. If my gun went down and I found another AR-15, I could simply steal its bolt carrier group if I needed it. I can take the whole upper. I could take the whole lower, the trigger group assembly. I can scavenge parts from an AR-15, and most of the time they will fit on my AR-15. And in the condition that I have it in with the law folding tactical folding stock and a short barrel, I can even stash it in a backpack. Yeah, talk about discreet firepower. I can literally fold this thing up, throw it into a backpack, and it makes it quick to deploy, and it makes it discreet. Super cool. And AR-15s are super reliable guns. Now, I know there's always some people that are going to be like, yeah, but my AK is better, and I can freeze piss in it, and it still works, and cool beans. That's neat. But AR-15s are reliable guns if you have a decent AR-15. My saltwater arms, which again is now Outer Wild, is super corrosion resistant. That's the point of the saltwater arms Outer Wild firearms. They were literally meant to be superior corrosion resistant. From the coatings that they use, to the types of parts that they use, to the general way that they're manufactured, they were meant to be super corrosion resistant, which is super beneficial when I don't have the ability to throw oil in it or to clean it or to ensure drying it out, right? I've got to be able to rely on its resistance to corrosion. And let's face it, AR-15s are customizable as hell. I joke about it in my classes all the time. The AR-15 is literally like an adult Lego set, right? I mean, you need a part, you just grab it and you slap a fucking part on it, right? You want a light, bam, slap a light on it. You want a red dot, bam, slap a red dot on it. You want a long range precision scope on it, boom, there you go. You want crazy laser beams, do it, man. If that's your thing. I personally hate lasers, but if that's your jam, jam away, brother, jam away. They they even make flamethrower attachments, pop can attachments where you can shoot pop cans or beer cans. I can only see that in a zombie apocalypse. Like just pelting zombies with beer cans. It's kind of cool, right? They even make little chainsaw attachments. Yeah, weird, but you do you, boo-boo. But last but not least, it's the adjustable stock, right? The ability that with a simple click of one button or a lever, we can adjust the length of pull of the stock, which means my wife can comfortably run this firearm too. I always have to think about my wife in this scenario or this situation, because can she also have that firearm, pick it up, and very quickly utilize that firearm? And would she, right? I mean, let's face it, the AR-15 is like the Swiss Army knife for rifles. It's a gun you can clear rooms with, hunt small game with, punch through light barriers with, and still have something you can somewhat conceal. So to me, the AR-15 kind of checks almost every damn box we got. That's it. That's my two guns, right? It took me longer to figure out exactly which two guns I wanted to pick for this than it did to write, produce, edit, and probably put this episode out there. It kind of sucked. I'm going to be honest with you. And I was very sad for the guns that didn't make it on there. They're going to feel very lonely, but that's them, right? So there you have it. Those are my top two, the Zev OZ9 Elite pistol and my Outer Wilds / Saltwater Arms AR-15 pistol / SBR. Two guns that I actually own, I trust, and I can grab at any moment's notice. Yeah, this episode really is subjective. It's for me, right? Everyone's list is going to be a little bit different, but this one's my list. And guess what? Deal with it. It's my podcast. You chose to listen to it. I'm just kidding. I don't want to anger anybody. I don't want to anger you much. You know what? I mean, I really don't care if it makes you angry. I'm just kidding. I love every one of you. I really do. But this is going to be subjective. It could be subjective to you personally, what you feel most comfortable using, or even just down to what you own. It could have a lot to do with where you're at from an environment, right? If you're out in the hills of Montana and you have zero population around you and you can see things from a long distance, you have a long distance vantage point, maybe your gun might wind up switching out. Maybe you're in a city, right? A big, heavy populated city, the concrete jungle. Maybe that will change what guns you decide to use in your two guns I grab when shit hits the fan scenario. So now let me throw it back to you. What two guns would you grab if shit hit the fan? Drop it in the comments. Hit me up on our socials, and I might actually read your picks in a future episode. I would love to be able to start doing that. I just want to get more interaction from you. I want to hear more ideas from you, whether it's about this or a future episode or something that you think is cool. If you also want to see some of my YouTube videos that I've put out there for D5 Ranges Marengo, check out D5 Ranges Marengo on YouTube and check out some of the YouTube videos I got going on over there. And yes, we are going to be making the switch to video very, very soon for this podcast. So hold your breath. It's going to be coming soon. We will be going video for our podcast. But until then, stay ready, stay tactical. And remember, when life gets messy, it's time to lock, load, and listen to your favorite firearms-related podcast, Trigger Happy Tactical Podcast. I love you, and I'll see you later.